Hey there, kindergarten friends. Welcome back. We just got done talking about what was in the treasure chest, and you noticed that there was two different types of squirrels. There was a cartoon one and a photograph of a squirrel. And we talked about that just like one can be pretend and one can be real, books can tell stories or books can give information. So over the next couple weeks, we're going to share some stories about squirrels and some information about squirrels. So we'll start with a book written by Adam Rubin. He's the author. He wrote the words. The illustrator is Daniel Salmgeri, and he created the pictures. There's actually more than one of these books, but the title of this one is Those Darn Squirrels. And we'll meet this character right here in a couple minutes. And by looking at the cover, do you think he likes those squirrels? What about the title? Does that give you a hint? And if we look at the spine of this book, it has the title, but the spine label tells me it is a picture book. It's a story, and it lives in the R letters of the picture books. Those darn squirrels. Just like you have a birthday, remember that books have a birthday. And this book's birthday was 2008. And sometimes on the inside, it also tells you what the illustrator used to make the pictures. Right here you can see that the copyright or the book's birthday was in 2008. And right below it, this book says the illustrations, so the pictures, were executed. That's a fancy word for that. The illustrators were made with watercolor, gouache, and colored pencil. Gouache is a type of paint. Watercolor, gouache, and colored pencils. So many different types of medium or art styles. All right, here we go. On the outskirts of town, at the edge of the forest, there was a little old house. The only thing older than the little old house was the man who lived in it. Old Man Fookwire. Old Man Fookwire was so old that when he sneezed, dust came out. He was also a grump. He hated pie. He hated puppies. The only thing that he liked was birds. All summer long, the old man painted pictures of the birds that he visited in his backyard. There were whirly birds, bonga birds, baba birds, and yabba birds. Even a rare falugal bird came by once or twice. Bookwire's paintings weren't very good, but the birds never said anything. I've been noticing that out the front window of my dining room when I can see the bird feeder. This morning was a blue jay, but I've never heard or seen a falugal bird. Have you? That's because they are imaginary. It's just a story. When the air turned crisp and the leaves began to change color, what time of the year is that? Is it spring, summer, fall, or winter? You said fall, you're right. The old man grew sad. He knew that soon the birds would fly south for the winter, as they did every year, and that he would get lonely. Then he had an idea. If he fed the birds, maybe they'd stick around. So Old Man Fookwire built beautiful bird feeders and put them up all around his backyard. He filled the feeders with delicious seeds and berries, and soon birds came from all over the forest just to eat in the old man's yard. Sometimes I see squirrels in my bird feeder. But the birds weren't the only ones who liked the bird feeders. The squirrels did too. Not many people know this, but squirrels are the cleverest of all the woodland creatures. In fact, they're fuzzy little geniuses. They can make a house out of a tree, a bed out of a bunch of leaves, and a box kite out of twigs, dirt, and squirrel spit. They are also excellent at math. I don't think I've ever seen a squirrel flying a kite or laying in a bed in the trees around my house. That's another clue that this can happen, and it's a story. Winter was fast approaching, and the squirrels needed to gather as much food as they could get ready. So they decided to take some of the bird seed. The birds were not happy. Neither was Old Man Fookwire when he discovered that what had happened. He shook his old man fist and yelled, "Those darn squirrels!" Is he happy? He is not, and neither are the birds. He filled up the feeders again, but this time he hung them from a clothesline. Then he went back inside, confident that the squirrels would no longer be able to get the seeds and berries. Do you think it works? Are you ready? But the squirrels were determined. Do you know what that means? The squirrels were determined. They were going to figure it out. They devised a plan, and this time they took all of the food from the bird feeders. What did they do? They were determined, so they climbed the tree and they all got on it to make it heavy, to bend the tree and take the food. That's determination. The birds were furious. "Hurrum, hurrum, hurrum," yelled a bonga bird. "Those darn squirrels," yelled Old Man Fookwire. "Yum," yelled the squirrels. Now, it was Old Man Fookwire's turn to devise a plan. He went to the general store to get supplies. He bought lasers, clamps, he bought wires and springs. He bought all sorts of tools and built a veritable fortress around his bird feeders. Then he refilled them very carefully. So if he went to the store and he got lasers and clamps, wires, springs, and tools, what do you think he built? What would you build to keep the squirrels away? And do you think it would work? "Na, na, 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 na," snorted the flugel bird. The squirrels stayed up all night working out their strategy. They drank cherry cola and ate salt and vinegar chips to help them stay awake. Finally, they had it. A perfect plan. They put on their tiny helmets and prepared to launch themselves in the air over the fence between the lasers and into the bird feeders. Do you think it will work? Can squirrels put on tiny helmets and draw pictures of how to get bird seed? No, that's just silly. What about cherry pop or cherry soda? No, or salt and vinegar chips? Well, they might snack on them if you left them in the yard. I don't think so. The first squirrel misfired and hit the tree. Bam! The second squirrel went too high and landed in a bucket of paint. The third squirrel sailed clear over the house. The birds laughed and laughed. They each had one last delicious mouthful of seeds and berries from the old man's feeders. Then they flew south for the winter, just as they did every year. Said the flugelbird. You suppose that's the flugelbird? After the birds left, old man Fookwire was lonely, just as he was every year. He fixed himself some cottage cheese and pepper, his favorite snack. Oh, I like cottage cheese and pepper, do you? But he was still lonely. When he looked out the window, the squirrels could tell he wasn't happy. Go away, shouted the old man. I don't like you, squirrels. Maybe you like cottage cheese with fruit. Maybe you don't like cottage cheese at all. But take a look at old man Fookwire's expression on his face now. He doesn't look angry. He looks, to me, like he's sad. And there are the squirrels watching through the window. The squirrels held a meeting deep inside a large tree. They decided to give old man a present to make up for taking the seeds and berries. Squirrel meeting tonight. Now, not many people know this, but squirrels are not only fuzzy little geniuses. They also collect just about anything they find on the ground. These squirrels had a stockpile of spectacular junk to choose from. But what would Mr. Fookwire like? Bottle caps, popsicle sticks, postage stamps. Finally, they had it. The perfect gift. If you had a coin, if you had a feather, a paper clip, a stamp, a popsicle stick, a ring, a key, a bottle cap, a necklace, what would you make as a gift for old man Fookwire that missed the birds? What do you think? Let's see. The squirrels stacked all of their loose change old man Fookwire's doorstep. There were dimes and pennies, there was nickels and quarters, there was even a few tokens from Coco's arcade. It all added up to $47.36, plus a few rounds of skeet ball. Maybe you squirrels aren't so bad, Fookwire said when he found the coins, but I still like the birds better. Well, that gave them another idea. They raided their junk collection again and got to work. So they gave him money, and he appreciated it, but that didn't make him feel better. When the old man Fookwire woke up the next morning, he was amazed to see that the birds had returned. Maybe they used the money to bring the birds back, do you think? Are you ready? But wait, those weren't birds. They were squirrels in disguise. Great googly moogly, said old man Fookwire. This will make quite a painting. He ran outside and took down the lasers and the wires and the spring-loaded trapeze. He turned all the bird feeders into squirrel feeders, and he painted till his brushes ran out of bristles. What did they do that was kind and thoughtful? They used all of their supplies to make bird costumes. The squirrels were so overjoyed they had a party in old man Footwire's house. Those darn squirrels, said Mr. Fookwire, and he shook his fist and smiled. Can you think now of 2 clues in this book that tell us it's just a story? Well, squirrels don't eat chips. Squirrels don't draw pictures. Squirrels do not fly kites. But it sure is an interesting and fun fiction story to listen to. Now, next time, we'll share an information book about squirrels. I wonder if they really are geniuses. I wonder if they really are collectors. What do you think? All right, kindergarten, I hope your day is super awesome and fantastic. Bye for now.